I don't know where I'd be without Rabbi Messer, without Torah. I'd probably still be doing the exact same things I had been doing in the past, which were not the greatest. I've only been in the Torah for about 2 years. Before I started with the Hebrew roots, I wanted nothing to do with the church or God. Growing up, I was a typical preacher's kid, going to church every Sunday, listening, to what they would talk about, their different sermons. Never really made sense to me, all the stuff they would talk about. Little did I know then that the Lord was calling me back to the Hebrew roots. When I turned 18, I left the church altogether. I rebelled against my parents. I married a woman out of rebellion because my parents didn't approve of the relationship. That's the only reason I married her. Then 6 months later, I divorced her because I knew it was wrong. From that point, I just bounced from relationship to relationship. I had my beautiful daughter out of wedlock. Then one week, my parents asked me to just come to a Shabbat service just to check it out. And just to appease them, I told them, all right, sure. So that Saturday came. I show up for Shabbat, and listening to Rabbi Messer teach, it was just like everything I had been questioning growing up and everything I had been looking for the answers for growing up in the church just all made sense. Before I started following Rabbi, I went from dead-end job to dead-end job, never getting anywhere, never accomplishing anything. Once I started following Rabbi, all that changed. When I started tithing regularly, when I started coming to Shabbat, when I started following the feast days, I was able to get a good job that turned into a career. There's room for advancement. There's great benefits. But, all that came after I started tithing regularly, showing up for Shabbat every week, and keeping the feast days, doing my Torah portions. I was able to get all that, and I was also able to get joint custody of my daughter, which I had never been able to do before. So when Rabbi Messer talks about being promoted by someone whose instructions you have followed, I'm a living example of that, because before I started following instructions, I was always trying to do it my own way, and it never worked out. But following the instructions given by God in His Torah, I've been able to improve my life dramatically. Well, I shouldn't say I improved my life dramatically. God has improved my life dramatically. He's greatly blessed me because of me following the instructions He laid out for our lives in the Torah. It's truly an amazing thing. I mean, there are times where I'll deal with an issue during the week, and it'll frustrate me so bad. So Saturday we'll come to Shabbat, be in service, and next thing you know, Rabbi's talking about how to deal with the exact same issue I was having that week. Sometimes I feel like He's in my living room during the week, or at my job during the week when I have these issues. It's amazing the level of insight He can give you into life and the way life goes just based on the Torah. I mean, it truly is an amazing thing how the Torah is there to specifically help us throughout our daily lives. I mean, I don't know where I'd be without Rabbi Messer, without Torah. I'd probably still be doing the exact same things I had been doing in the past, which were not the greatest. Just this past Shabbat, he talked about character. And even being in it for 2 years, I mean, it's not a long time. And you can get comfortable, sitting there every Shabbat and just saying, all right, great, I'm here, Lord bless me. But looking at his sermon Saturday and some of my notes that I had taken from Shabbat when he was talking about character, I realized there were still things in my life that weren't in order. And it's one of them things. It's no matter what, there's always room for improvement, even with Torah. No one's perfect. I mean, I'm certainly not perfect, but if you follow the commands set forth in the Torah and you keep the feast days and you keep the Sabbath, it's amazing what God will do in your life. I've never been so blessed as I have been in the past 2 years since I've started studying regularly, doing my Torah portions every week, keeping the Sabbaths, tithing like I'm supposed to tithe. All I can say is, if you're looking for answers, the answers are there in the Torah and with Rabbi Messer, and especially with the ICTS. Which the ICTS, it's so in depth. I don't know where I'd be without all those things.